So if you have a 6% increase in energy, you have a 6% increase in GDP. If you have a huge fall, as we had back under COVID, when it fell by about 8%, you had an 8% fall in GDP. So what it says is that the change in gross world product is virtually identical to the change in energy. The empirical data tells you something that says the impact of a loss of energy is 25 times larger than the neoclassical economists will think it is. That's how wrong they are.
So firstly, it comes back to this point around critical thinking, where again, he's outlining this conventional way of thinking about the economy that economists are taught. And what he's saying here essentially is that the conventional methods are not essentially correctly modeling the impact of energy. Now, my own feeling around this is that although the theory might be flawed, we also have to assume these economists are probably able to consider other theories and come up with their own ideas, but use and rely on these theories. And I think, he's in that world. And I do accept what he's saying, that many economists, and maybe inexperienced economists, may make this mistake and not see the limitations of the models they're using. But my own feeling as well is that labour capital implicitly requires energy. And I think that in itself is where there may be a conflation from a modelling perspective, and why it's not explicitly modelled in the model he referred to. I can't remember the name of the model. And I think as well, what we also have to consider actually is that if conceivably America understood this implicitly, i.e. if they are deliberately restricting oil supplies, is it feasible that their economists understood this relationship and this fundamental relationship to the economy with respect to energy and industrialization? I think most people implicitly can understand that. That might be sort of unlearned, but I think for me, it is understood, just through observation, just anecdotally, when you see wars, the first thing they attacked is infrastructure, energy production, hospitals, schools. So we know how damaging it is to the economies of countries if you attack those areas. So I think from my perspective, although what he's saying is fundamentally correct, I think it is important to also understand that I think, again, there is the possibility that there are many economists that do understand this relationship implicitly, even if they weren't taught this, and or the US are taking advantage of what he's shown us in his own model.